Okay, back to another page of trigonometry for today, and we're going to look at changing products to sums and sums to products, which sounds really complicated, but it's not actually that hard to do. We have formulas for them in the log tables. Products means two things multiplied, and sums means two things that are added. So a couple of formulas, they're in the log tables, but I'll just write them down here because it'll make it easier to access them. If I have sine multiplied by cosine, I can write that as sine of the two angles plus added together plus sine of the two angles subtracted. So that's one of the formulas that I might use. The second formula is that if I have cosine and sine multiplied together this way round, it's nearly exactly the same, except that I have a minus between them. I can use either one of these because, as you can see, multiplication is commutative, so it's just about which way it's more convenient for you to fill it in. Now, that's if cosine and sine are multiplied together. If cosine of one angle is multiplied by cosine of another angle, then we get this formula: cosine of the two angles added plus cosine of the two angles subtracted. And finally, if I have sine, two sines in my question, I need to put a minus in front of it, and I get cosine of the two angles added, take away cosine of the two angles subtracted. So like I said, those formulas are in the log tables. Which one do you use? Well, it depends on what the question says. So if I look at my question here, I need to write cos of 5x by cos of x. That's my A and that's my B as a sum. So I want a plus or minus in my answer. So plus or minus are both called sums because minus and minus gives you a plus. So which one am I going to use? Formula 3, because it's the one with two cosines in it. So I'm going to use the fact that 2 times cosine of angles is equal to cosine of the two angles added together plus cosine of the two angles subtracted. But now I've got a problem. What do I do about this 2? Well, I just divide across by 2, and I'm going to have a half outside of my formula like that. So then, filling in, A is 5x, so cosine of 5x, B is x times cosine of x will be a half by cosine of 5x plus x, we'll simplify that in a second, plus cosine of 5x minus x, which is a half by cosine of 6x plus cosine of 4x. Okay, and that's all we have to do. You can leave your answer like that. It's fine to have a half in the answer. That's all you needed to do. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's do one more going the other way. I'm looking to write sine as a product. So I've got a sine here and a sine here, and there's a plus between them. Which of these formulas here works for me? And here we go. Sine of A plus B. So let's just write down the formula down here. Twice sine of A cos A is equal to sine of A plus B plus sine of A minus B. So we need to do a little bit of work here to work out what A and B were. So I'm looking for two numbers that add to give me 6 and subtract to give me 4. So the difference between them is 4. I could do that. Actually, there's a formula that I can use. Sorry, I was overcomplicating things for myself because that won't work out exactly. I can't think of those two numbers straight away, so I'm not going to use this formula. We've got our sum to product formulas. And again, there are 4 of those in the log tables. So you look through them. I'm not going to write them all down. You can look them up in the log tables. And we find one that looks like this. Sine of A plus sine of B is equal to twice sine of A plus B over 2 multiplied by cosine A minus B over 2. So that's in our log tables. And what are A and B? A is going to be 6x and B is going to be 4x. So that means when I fill into this formula, sine of 6x plus sine of 4x is equal to twice sine of the two things added together, 6x plus 4x all over 2. It looks complicated, but it simplifies really quickly by cosine of 6x minus 4x over 2, and that's twice sine 10x over 2 is 5x, cosine 2x over 2 is x. And there's our answer. Okay, so the formulas are already set up for us. I was sorry for starting us down a path that was going to be a bit more complicated when we can just use the sum to product formula. And they're all in the log tables. You just look them up, fill them in, and then you're done. Okay, so I'm not asking you to do those for homework. I just want us to fill in into the notes and practice understanding them. Like I said, with these last few pages of trigonometry are topics that don't come up a lot. So we're just filling them in for completion. And later when we're doing exam paper questions in 6th year, revising this topic as it comes up, we can go over them then. Okay, thank you.